Hi, this is Tim and Karen, and I'd like to welcome you to our podcast, Stampin' on the Back Porch, where we talk about everything paper crafting, creativity, and life.
Today we're talking about the big question, why make cards? I was thinking about that the other day and thinking about all the different reasons people make cards, and I was thinking about my life. To be honest, I had never made cards before I became a demonstrator and started teaching card making. It was the first thing that I saw that I felt I could do because, I don't know, people were just watching what you did and it was just kind of fun. So the rest is history. So here I still am. But why do I love making cards now? This is apart from the money benefits. This has become, my business. So these are 3 reasons I came up with that fit me. I love feeling creative. I find myself looking at the world around me in a different way because I'm inspired by design, color. Whether I'm out in nature, I'm at a store, looking at a magazine, ideas and colors and ideas flow, and it's a fun way to open the world to notice things differently. Second, I love seeing the finished products and thinking, I made this, these are ready to go out and be given to people. I'm also a quilter. That's my other real love. I haven't done that for a while, but I really love the contrast. And a lot of the things are the same, working with color, design, it's kind of that whole thing. But quilting is a very slow process. Let's just say we have 5 kids and a couple of them have gotten quilts. But I also love the immediacy of the card making. So I love both things, and I just think they work well together. But that's one of the things I have come to just love with this, that you can make something quick and useful. And last, I love when I am making cards, thinking about who I'm making them for. Now, for me, I do far more mass-producing stamping. I send out to customers,
Tons.
to my team. I send out tons. So I am usually making quantity, but when I am making those, I am feeling so grateful for those people in their lives and how they have enriched my life, how I get to be doing something I love. Doing that. So those are 3 things that came to me. So Tim, why do you make cards?
Well, I want to first comment on your quilts, because I got a quilt from Karen when we got married 46 years ago, and I still have it.
Before we got married.
Before we got married?
Yes.
Wow.
My roommate, who was also named Karen at the time, we both made quilts for our boyfriends. Ours lasted. We got married. Hers didn't, but it's a fun memory because we were doing it together and it was just a very fun. And it's kind of like doing cards together now. So I hadn't thought about that, but that's fun.
But it is. It's very nice.
And it's very faded and worn. We used
is.
it many years.
Yep.
We still love it.
And it's in a big chest that came over from Norway. Mm-hmm. And why I make cards? Because I am a romantic. A hopeless romantic. And if I made...
Married to a non-romantic.
I know. If I made a card for Karen every day, it would be romantic with hearts on it. And if you've gotten anything from me, you know that I make a heart, color it in red, and I carry a red pen with me all the time because I have to color my heart in with red. And so I'm a very, very much of a romantic. But I do have a couple of cards from way back that had to do with anniversaries, had to do with Valentine's Day. And so I'm not a card maker per se, but I am a romantic who will make a card for an occasion.
But when do you usually make cards? Let's tell us about your card of the week.
I make cards online. I don't...
You mean on camera? Not
Yeah, online. Well, it's online ultimately, but on camera, on cue, and Karen will give me about a 45-second tutorial ahead of time.
Right before we
go on live, and says, this is kind of what you're going to do, and then I do it however I want to do it. And it usually turns out pretty good, and if it doesn't, I just keep trying until I get it good, and if it never gets good, I just kind of give it a toss.
But Tim has actually picked out, noticed a couple of cards and I said, oh, I love this card. Who'd you get this from? And I'll say, it's one you made. So I said, so there's still that thing. But I just have to say, I get so many comments from women viewers saying, oh, I wish I could get my husband to stamp with me. And I always replied back, do you realize Tim has never sat and stamped with me? Tim performs for the camera.
I do.
There is a difference. So get over that idea right away. We don't do this together.
No, we don't.
But this shared thing has really become a fun
It is.
You know, a fun thing.
And I would not make a business out of it because I would just be doing it for
Yeah.
creativity and for love. And Karen,
But that brings up all the different reasons for doing this. You know,
I know, it is.
I mean, it's really cool because I think we all have our own.
Karen would have a bunch of cards but no income.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
We'd be in the poorhouse because I didn't make cards to make a living, but just to show her that I love her.
So I posted this question over on our Facebook group. Did you know we have this Facebook group? And you just go request to join, go to Facebook and look for Back Porch Stampers. And that's where a lot of my ideas. I post questions there because we just love to have the conversation about things like this. And so please join us there and get in on the conversations. That's really fun. But I wanted to share some of the responses
What did
from
you say?
them.
Back porch stampers?
Back Porch Stampers on Facebook. If I ever figure out how to do show notes, I'll put it in the show notes. But you know, I'm still working on this thing. We are hoping we have the volume issue figured out today. So we'll see. We're learning, and we just appreciate you being in our community and following along. But I just wanted to share some of these. These are like each a story in themselves, and you know, and just think about what resonates with you. I think, you know, we really do have a gift to give ourselves and the world. So the first reason, I just have 3 umbrella reasons. The first is therapy for ourselves. Cassandra says, I love making cards to be a blessing to someone else, and it's an excellent stress reliever to take your mind off the pressures of life. Renee says, I was brought up having very low self-esteem. When I was introduced to card making, my life changed forever. When I can put a smile on someone's face with my cards, it puts a smile in my heart. Jill says, it's fun and relaxing. It's something my mom did, and I carry that memory. It's nice when people tell me they still have cards she made. She's been gone 17 years. I have people tell me they have kept every card I've made for them. That tells me handmade cards mean something. So I am happy to carry on the tradition.
Getting lost?
I know, you get lost.
Kathy.
A little aside here. Usually I print out, you know, if I have notes, so notes for me. But since we are traveling, we are the card making traveler couple.
And we do not have a printer.
So I'm trying to do everything from the same computer. So, you know, but it's all good.
It's working.
But I just think that's precious, the memory and kind of carrying on that memory. And it also makes me think of doing that with grandkids and family members and carrying on that tradition. I think that's pretty powerful that 17 years later, you know, she's just continuing this thing that people remember.
Kathy with the K.
Yes. Making cards is definitely therapeutic for me. It's gotten me through bad times, sad times, and stressful times. It keeps me sane. Recipients telling me how much they enjoyed my creation is an added bonus.
Another Kathy with the K.
It's my creative outlet, relaxing and stimulates my mind at the same time. Having cards to send for any occasion is a happy side benefit.
Phyllis with an F? No.
Phyllis with a P, because it's my time. You know, I think as women we often don't, you know, if we're really busy, my time goes out the window. So what a great thing to value that and take that as my time. Beth says, I love making cards. Can't expect others to entertain me, so I found something I enjoy doing. I love that comment. Pat says, I make cards to satisfy a need in me to make something every day. How awesome is that? And I send them to people who need a pick-me-up. I think that is a great thing to just realize that you need to make something every day. What a good way to live life. And Jana says, I can make and be my own Hallmark, which is great. The next, I'm just going to have a couple comments here, but it's about community. Terry says, this craft introduced me to a community of friends that I needed in my life. And Betty said, it's my passion. I have a balance issue and can't get out by myself, but I can make cards in my home. It makes me happy to be a part of this community. And again, you know, they're talking about the Back Porch Stampers too, so check that out. And you'll see community coming up in other comments too. But my last...
It's a big deal.
It is a big... We love community, and I think that's kind of our biggest thing is desiring to create community and be in community, to live in community in different ways. And so then the last broad comment is making something special for others. And what the thing I love about this is, I mentioned that I usually am doing quantity cards, so I love reading about people that do the very specific special cards. Pam says, I see making a card for someone is showing them love, kind of like when you cook or bake for them. That's with love. And I love that comparison. Whatever your interests are, your gifts. That's one thing you do.
That's what I do.
That's his biggest thing is
I
cooking.
I don't make cards, show my love. I cook and I bake.
We have what we call Monday Mavens come over every Monday. We have about 10 women that all come over and help me with my business just for the fun of it. We're just a fun community, and Tim always makes us a special lunch. I think that's really why they come, but it's all good. But I think that's just fun because we all have our own roles to play. And sometimes some of the other women give them a break and bring lunch too.
That's nice.
Which
And
is,
then
we have a
Tuesday
Julie
evening-
who loves to cook, and boy, she makes amazing food. So that's really fun.
Tuesday evening, we have another
Yes.
guest that gets fed.
Yes.
And she
like
work-
family,
and she
so
works
it's all
hard.
perfect. Yes. So we love that part of our community too, because life really truly is community. The one you're born into and the ones you create. That's great. Patricia says,
That's profound.
yes, it's a personal way of communication, picking their favorite color, flower, or animal to bring a smile to their face. Oh, I love how personal she is about that because I don't tend to do that. That you would do that. That would be Tim making something very personal. So that's a great way. Sally says, I make cards because family and friends know you think they're special since you put forth the effort to make something just for them. And a different Sally says, sending a card, knowing it will make someone smile, warms my heart. And creating art fills my soul. Perfect combination. I love that. That is a perfect combination.
So we had 2 Kathys and 2 Sallys.
Yes. That's just well said. And Roseanne, I'm a hospice nurse and love making special gifts and cards for my patients. They cherish them. When I go visit them, they have my creations out for everyone to see. It just melts my heart. Nothing feels better than that. Can't you just feel that? I said that is. And Kate, so many reasons. I love making things. I used to quilt. Oh, it's a little familiar thing here. But I had a hard time finishing projects. Oh, that would never be me. No, I would never be most of us crafters. The pile of unfinished projects again. So I get to use some of the same skills, but I'm able to finish things. I started giving gifts of card sets to family members many years ago, and now they are disappointed if they don't get them. I love making the cards and giving them. They love getting them and then giving them to the people, other people who love receiving them. So, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Nancy, cards are my creative outlet. I have a wonderful time making them and sending or gifting them. I am blown away at how many of my cards will grace someone's shelf, table, or windowsill for quite some time. Barbara says, I make them from my heart to bring smiles on people's faces.
Going back to Nancy's, I think there's still a card that I made that's on our mantle that shows up on our Facebook Live.
Yeah, I know. It's one of my favorite ones that Tim made, and it just stays up there. So I said it's just very fun. And I love looking at that. So, it's kind of a decorating thing, right? And this is just such a sweet comment by Barb. I love making cards because I know how much it has lifted me up to receive such beautiful cards when I didn't feel well for months. I never throw any of them away. I've started making cards again to share with others. Thanks so much to all the beautiful cards made by the Back Porch Stampers. I am so thankful for this group. That really touches my heart. And my last one, by a different Karen, not me. I wish I had said these words so eloquently, but this is just very, very touching. She said, my cards, that little voice in my head, God speaks to me in quiet times, tells me to send a card to a certain person now. So I send a card. Mind you, it takes several days for that person to get it in the mail. They let me know that card arrived on the exact day that they needed it. So many people are hurting in this world and needing a kind word of encouragement, or to just know that in the sea of people, at least one person cares. Do I get cards back? Maybe from 1 or 2 people. You get a faster and instant response on the computer, but so many people I have sent cards to tell me I have kept every one. When I'm having a bad day, I take them out and read them over again. Listen to that voice, send that card. You may never know how God is using you to comfort and care for those around you.
I like that just because it's kind of like divine inspiration.
Yes.
Getting the message that this person needs a card, needs encouragement, and by the time it shows up, that's the That's the moment.
And it's the taking the action. I mean, some of us going to think, oh, yeah, you get that, you kind of get that, and then you don't do anything. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's just so special to heed that voice, send that card. So thank you, Karen. All of these amazing comments are all from people over in the Back Porch Stampers. So I know you will just enjoy getting to know them. So to close with, my question for you is, why do you make cards? And if you haven't started making cards yet, which of these comments has kind of resonated with you and made you think, maybe I would like to start? If you've made cards for many years, has your reason for making cards changed? We'd love to hear your responses in the comments below. And we can always continue the conversation over too from the Back Porch Stampers in the Facebook group. Thank you so much for listening to this, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Goodbye.